Also tonight, dramatic new fallout from reports that the Trump campaign is running on financial fumes. New financial filings show the Trump campaign had less than $1.3 million in the bank headed into June. Compare that to the Clinton campaign, which reported a $42 million war chest. Donald Trump backer Ed Rollins tells the Washington Post that Trump is now, quote, looking into the abyss. Joining me now with that, Guy Benson, townhall.com political editor and a Fox News contributor. Boris Epstein, a Trump supporter and former communications aide with the McCain-Palin campaign. And Chris Steyerwalt, our Fox News digital politics editor. Chris, let me start with you. How bad is that, 43 million versus 1.3?
Well, when a guy who's working on your campaign says you're looking into the abyss, I don't think he means the abyss of excellence and joy. So no bueno is the term for that. But we have to remember, Trump's campaign is not about money, it's about Trump. Trump and more Trump. That's the idea. And he has said all along that he was not probably going to be able to match Hillary Clinton, who's better at buck raking than any human being who has ever raked a buck. She's got more connections. She's got more friends, done more favors, all that stuff. She's got this huge organization. He has no organization. What he has is himself going on television and getting free coverage. And he also has the ability to create controversy. So he's not going to need as much money as she has. This amount of money, though, is impossible. This is unworkable.
He's got to start putting some money in the coffers. And Boris, he says, no problem. I can do that, no problem. And if I have to do it with my own cash, I'll do it with my own cash. Do you believe that?
Yes. Now, first of all, that number was at the end of May. The first event, the first fundraising event was May 25th. That was a result of one event. I know for a fact Donald Trump raised more money tonight, about 5 times more money than that 1.5 million that was out there. So there's going to be no problem. Fundraising is ongoing. It's going to be great for June. You'll see the July numbers that are much better than the numbers you've been seeing. So there's no issue there. Now, of course, you know that Donald Trump has a lot of wealth of his own, and he's already been shown to be willing to put his money where his mouth is. He'll continue to do so if need be. But this is not a concern. It's not going to be an issue.
Even though Trump has a lot of money, he is notoriously frugal. Some people say that's why he has a lot of money, right? I mean, like we could probably take a lesson. I'm hearing my husband in my own head. In any event, the point is, do we really believe, Guy, that he's willing to spend $1 billion of his own money to get himself elected?
Maybe not $1 billion, and let's do it. If you're going to spend it, let's spend it. I think the issue with the fundraising and that really bad number in May is he had the entire month. He sewed this thing up, May the 4th, and still just squandered basically a month, not just of the fundraising. The money matters for ground game. And I've been making this point. Donald Trump got a wake-up call in Iowa during the primaries. In those caucuses, he thought that his way was going to be just enough, and he was leading by 5 points going into Iowa. Ted Cruz out-organized him on the ground, and he lost in Iowa. We're not messing around anymore. If you want to beat Hillary Clinton, she is going to be churning out money like crazy, printing money. You have to get serious, and that number, I think, made a lot of Republicans very nervous.
They're saying, Chris, that the top fundraisers are not opening up the coffers because they're concerned. He fired Corey Lewandowski as his campaign manager. It's not Corey Lewandowski. They're concerned about Trump, his controversial comments. The Wall Street Journal had a report talking about how they're worried about the comments he made about that judge and other things, and they don't want to put money into a campaign that can't get it done.
So if you got a culvert that goes under your driveway, under your road, if you're in West Virginia, and a groundhog dies in it, the water will not go through. It just bloats up too much, and no water comes out at the other end. There is in fact a dead groundhog. There is a dead groundhog in the culvert of the Republican fundraising system, and that is the fact that these donors won't give. They're looking at Trump. They're looking at this situation. This is affecting Senate races, House races, gubernatorial races. So the Republican Party is looking at Donald Trump and saying, get with it, get regular, get on teleprompter, calm down, act like a normal candidate, and start raking in money from big donors, and also what he started doing today, which is beating up those small donors. Send out those emails. You know the billion you get in your inbox every day. Hey, it's the last chance. This is the most urgent moment. Act now, act now, act now. That's what Trump's going to start doing, and in that way, he becomes like a regular candidate. He gets money, but he loses the advantage that he has of being able to say, I'm my own guy. I don't take their money.
But the thing is, Boris, the other way of looking at this is Trump has, 1/10 of what Hillary has, if that, but he's still polling even with her in Ohio and Pennsylvania. I mean, with basically no effort. If he can win Ohio and Pennsylvania, I mean, it would be stunning. Pennsylvania is basically considered blue now.
And he's down by 8 in Florida, but that's after all the comments about the judge that I think were absolutely normal, but that did hurt him in the polls there.
You think they were normal?
He'll bounce back. I don't see any problem with the comments, and I think the polls will show that in about 2 weeks he'll be back even in Florida too. Now again, as to the money, the RNC has outraised the DNC by $50 million in this cycle, by $80 million since 2013. So let's not act like the Republican Party has a money issue. Let's not act like Trump has a money issue. This election is not going to be decided based on money.
Trump's campaign does have a money issue as of today. The question, I mean, whether he can turn it around is a different story.
And let's not pretend that money doesn't matter. And it's not just me saying that or Megyn or anyone else. Trump himself last month said we have to raise $1 billion.
And he's working really hard to do that.
Well, maybe now he is.
He's working hard. You got over 4 months left to go. There's not going to be an issue. We are going to beat Hillary because she's got a huge truthfulness problem.
You may not think that the comments about the judge were an issue, but the donors clearly do. The polls reflected it was a problem, and even Trump ultimately came around to that because he walked back, which is rare for Trump, but he had to reverse himself as much as Trump is capable of doing.
I think in November it's going to not end up being an issue.
Well, that's a different point.
That's what
Great
I'm
to
saying.
see you both, and you too, Starwell. I got that image in my head there, the groundhog. Like I'm thinking Caddyshack. Is anybody else picturing that right now? That could be the way forward for them.